Never in doubt.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt. Wow. The third quarter and the fourth quarter were like inverses of each other. The Celtics had Sam Hauser in the third quarter go absolutely nuts, and then everybody knew it was coming. The Bryce Sensabaugh explosion, who, to be fair, he has had a few explosions this season, so it wasn't as frustrating as Jabari Walker hitting 6 threes, for example. Like, I know that Sensabaugh actually has the capability to do that, but hey, I'm not sure exactly what I would call this as far as describing the win goes, Spoonie, but it's a win, and it's the NBA, so we'll take it.
Yeah, so I think I was doing some thinking. I would credit this win to the Garden because they were so flat and dead. And then, like, when the Jazz cut it to like 4 or 6, they had a really loud "Let's go Celtics" chant start kicking in. And they started getting their shit together and figuring it out and kind of playing defense a little bit. To me, this is just like a massive, like, shooting variance in the fourth quarter combined with them totally taking their foot off the pedal to ridiculous degrees. So it's the modern NBA, man. Like, it's a cliche at this point, but like, this is what people are talking about when they say that. Like, 20 points is nothing now. It is like what a 12-point lead was in 2002. So they held on, they won. Our mantra on this show is there are no bad wins. This one kind of comes pretty close, though.
Yeah, look, but you've got no Tatum, you got no Jalen, you got no Porzingis, which I'm not sure we can even use that anymore. I think no Tatum and no Horford is as far as I'm willing to go because, well, maybe we'll get to the Porzingis stuff at the end here. But you're missing some guys, and look, it's the NBA.
No Lowry,
no Lowry,
George.
no Keontae George. Obviously, you would expect to win this game by more, and the line coming into today I think was like 16.5 for the Celtics, which when they're favored by that much, especially coming off a big win and then another big game to follow, like this had all the makings of a trap game, and it felt like we were going to avoid the trap when Sam Hauser goes absolutely nuts in the third quarter. And I think that's easily it's his career high, I think, scoring wise.
It is.
And that third quarter, we were starting to talk about, is he gonna tinker, get close to touching Klay Thompson's third quarter, single quarter made threes record, which I think is 9, and Sam had 7, I think, threes in a quarter, which 7 threes in a quarter. After starting, like, he was bricking all over the place, and then he just goes completely nuts. They were looking for him in transition, and he flipped the game and blew it open for the boys.
Yeah, man. Sam, when he gets on a roll like that, man, it is so fun to watch him. Like, boo anyone who's like, oh, threes aren't fun, aren't entertaining. Fuck that. That was entertaining as hell, watching him absolutely fire from everywhere. Like, pump faking. He came off of one screen and just, like, let it rip. He had that one in the corner. That was, like, pretty ridiculous, too.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, a little step back. Man. Dude.
It was awesome.
We got him, like, obviously the threes are what got him to 33 points tonight, but he had 2 makes that were 2s coming off drives, one of which was like a very heavily contested one that he threw up at the rim, but it was like get downhill, little deceleration, little Samelo action in the paint there. Ben Vallis just now seeing Kristaps Porzingis' tweet.
Ben.
What the shit, man? Are you serious? Yeah. Not a good tweet, which we're going to get to at the end of the show here.
Get the EMTs on standby for Ben. You never know what's going to happen. The anxiety.
But yeah, clearly Hauser is the story of the game here. Yeah. And like on a night where, you're thinking this is going to be a classic Pritchard spot. And the offense was struggling. And I think, I don't know, Spoonie, the book, I'm not saying the book is out, but I think that the NBA may have decided that the best way to play against the Celtics is just to switch everything and live with it. And the Celtics have been doing the same thing to the other teams, to like the Lakers, and we did the same thing to the Mavs in the finals. And tonight, where you're missing Tatum, and you're, again, missing Porzingis, but specifically Tatum, you're obviously missing your other guy that's really, really good at punishing mismatches. You're a guy that is, one of the best isolation scorers in the NBA this season. And that was the game plan by the Jazz. Now, I don't know why we insisted on only attacking Walker Kessler, like why he was the one guy that we had to isolate for the entire game, because it felt like maybe Jalen could attack Bryce Sensabaugh on the post. Colin Sexton, he had a nice play on late, but offensively, we were stuck in the mud for a lot of this game, and a lot of that was because Jalen was having trouble, efficiently punishing the mismatches.
Yeah, I do think part of this was just they were missing shots. I mean, Jalen 0 for 5 from three, Pritchard 2 of 8 on some wide open ones, Derek 3 of 11 on shots that I think, other nights they probably go down. I thought attacking Kessler was really bore a lot of fruit in the first half. I thought he looked like totally out of sorts, and we were getting whatever we want. And then in the second half, he really he started giving more space and backing off ball handlers and just kind of daring people to hit pull up threes, and we weren't hitting them. But to me, my favorite way that Jaylen Brown attacks mismatches is when he goes at guards. Like you said it, the
Yes.
attack when he posted up Sexton, put him into the hoop, got fouled. He could have done that every single possession in the fourth quarter. Like it doesn't I don't totally trust Jalen attacking bigs, not because he's like a bad finisher, but it just lets help get over there, and it can bother his mid-range jumper because of the length, whereas where he's got a smaller guy on him, he can just shoot over the top. It's the opposite of Tatum. I love when Tatum attacks bigs,
Yes.
and I think little guys can give him a problem because they get into his handle a little bit. So yeah, and we always talk about you want to attack mismatches, you want to, killer whale hunt, but you don't want to do it where it compromises any ball movement or any off ball movement. And we really, really in the fourth quarter, the offense was like the worst of the Ime Udoka year, stagnant, like some Doc Rivers flush toilet offense or clogged toilet offense
That's the one.
status. And so it was really brutal at times, but I think there was also just some Derek White threes in that fourth quarter, especially that I would have bet my life were going in, like open space, look good out of the hand, and they just didn't go down too. So I don't want to overreact too much, but you're right, man. Kessler is not great in space, but if you get downhill on him and you haven't completely beat him, he is going to make
Yes,
the finish
exactly.
difficult.
Dude, that was the thing. It felt like Jalen was just not quite able to figure out the pacing of how Kessler was defending him. But at the same time, Jalen did have a fucking monster dunk to kind of ice the game. But at the same time, it was like inches, centimeters away from Kessler actually getting back and blocking that. I just thought Jalen wasn't quite able to figure out the pacing to attack Kessler. And I think if this was a series, which obviously it's not going to be because Utah,
Sucks.
it literally, I don't think the chance of us meeting them in a series in the Jays era would be higher than 5% at this point.
Oh,
But,
it's 0.5% probably.
Yeah, what are we
right?
talking about? So that's not going to happen. We're not something we have to, see again. But I think that if there were more possessions, that maybe Jalen would figure it out a bit. I just wanted to see them blend it. It's like, okay, we're stuck in mud right now. Utah's going nuts on the other end. Can we get Jalen in the post on a small defender, like on the baseline? It just felt like we were kind of banging our heads into a wall, and eventually Jalen broke through the wall with his head. And so, credit to him, I guess.
Yeah, in the first half, I thought especially we ran a Chicago action out of the corner. So Jalen comes up, gets a handoff, and there's a screen right behind it, and that got Kessler switched onto him while Jalen has pace going right with Kessler kind of trailing him a little bit. I don't remember what we got out of that, but I remember thinking, oh, that was a really good shot. That's how you want to do it. Don't just, okay, pick and roll. I've got the switch. 5 defenders are standing there, staring at me while I try to attack Kessler one-on-one. That's just not an effective way to run it's effective with Tatum because he also is just a more natural playmaker than Jalen too. So when he does get a step, he can really get guys open with his passing. And Jalen did that fine. He's great as sort of your secondary playmaking banana, but we really miss Tatum just cracking the defense, getting that initial pass. They're in rotation, and then swing, Celtics offense. We look awesome. So, but Jalen, he shot 11 free throws. I thought his approach to like, I'm going to continue attacking downhill, I really liked. It just seemed like Joe needed to have some more complex ways to get him into those positions.
Yeah, I didn't hate the process from Jalen overall. I thought it was, if anything, that's more on Joe, right? Like, if he keeps doing that, that's clearly part of the game plan. Jalen's really been getting to the free throw line, and he's been making his free throws. Like, his scoring efficiency is just been buoyed by his 3-point shot has come back to that 35% range lately, but 26 points on 20 shots is, okay. But that's because he went 10 for 11 from the line, and he hit the 2 clutch free throws late in the game. He's been really racking up the assists when Jason is off the court. And part of that is I totally buy into the improved decision-making and the improved playmaking. Oh, yeah. I do think part of it is just purely like he's got the ball and like he's our lead initiator, so there are going to be some assists there. But it's leading to pretty solid offense. So I definitely think that the playmaking and the decision-making, that the load that we've put onto Jalen, we saw it bear fruit in last year's playoffs. I think, again, it's going to bear fruit, giving him these extra responsibilities. But yeah, it's the scoring efficiency without Tatum definitely isn't there, and you see it on nights like this. While we got it over the line, like Jalen is not a lead initiator in the NBA on a good team.
Yeah, and that's fine. He is amazing as like a secondary initiator, play finisher type. And like the guys who are amazing play finishers and amazing playmakers, there's like 4 of them in the NBA, So it's okay to be the 15th best player in the NBA. That's pretty damn good. So yeah, I thought Jalen, what'd you think about us defensively tonight? Because the fourth quarter, like, we were not playing great, but I thought the first 3 quarters, we let John Collins take a lot of wide open shots. Yeah, I think that's a pretty smart. I don't know. I'm not above the break. I don't know.
Do you know what
man.
he's shooting from 3 this year?
Is he above 40% this
42,
year?
42. Yeah. On like, I was stunned. But... I mean, it worked. Like he ended up shooting. What did he end up? 2 for 11. But yeah, I like coming to the game like, of the guys on the court to leave wide open, I'd have to like maybe quickly look at the above the break versus the corners. But like, and Collins kept shooting them. To his credit, he got up 11 attempts and he ended up making 2 later. It's, I guess the fact that fucking Jabari Walker is someone that hits 6 threes, it just shows you like, sometimes shooting variance is shooting variance for a reason. The guy that shoots 42% on the season ends 2 for 11. Jabari Walker, who is 26% on the season and has never shot more than 3 threes in a game this season, goes 6 for 6. That's just kind of life sometimes. But I'm trying to, whatever.
Yeah,
but
and
go ahead.
I was gonna say like, it's shooting variance very much alive. Isaiah Collier made a 3. I don't know the last time he hit a 3. So like that shit's gonna happen. Like Break Sensabaugh is fine. He's a fine shooter. He's not Steph Curry, and he was just burying everything. So it's like, okay, Sexton missed the shots, but some of these other guys made ones you probably don't expect them to. But I don't know, dude. Like the defense was like it was solid. It was not our best defensive performance, but I thought it was pretty damn solid.
It cranked
when we
right
needed it.
When it got tied and everybody was flying around. I thought that like everybody was gang rebounding. I thought when they needed it. And Drew Holiday, like any chance of the Jazz finishing off, it reminded me of the Nemhard play. He just like got into his grill and said game's over, buddy. And that is defensively big picture as important as anything. I thought Drew was really solid tonight, and he hit the big clutch 3 in the corner, and we're getting the Dr. Evil celebrations
I loved
now,
it.
which is a thing that apparently is happening. That's huge. That's huge. 4 for 9 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and that was a big shot. Big shot deep in the corner, tight contest. Had to adjust the trajectory of his shot attempt, which is really difficult to do. 6 rebounds, classic couple clutch offensive rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, a block, only 1 turnover. I thought he was really, really solid tonight, coming off a solid Lakers game, and that is fucking important. If we're gonna have, Kristaps Porzingis with Ebola, like we're gonna need Drew Holiday to still be able to play at a really high level. And so seeing the last couple games back from mallet finger, what are we dealing with? These injuries. We got scurvy and mallet finger from the 1400s taking down the team at the moment.
I know, and with Al's big toe or whatever the hell he had, yeah, we're falling. Our pets' heads are falling off. It's crazy. Yeah, dude, like it feels like Drew's baseline defensive performance has definitely started to creep up as we approach the playoffs here. And was it sort of difficult to watch at times this season? Yes, but this is exactly what I want from him. Like, do not play defense like you did in the Lakers game in January. There's no need for that. And really awesome that Joe just put Drew on Walker Kessler to start the game. Totally hijacked their offense until they adjusted, but it completely undermined anything they were trying to do with getting Kessler down with like a head of steam down. It was like, oh, you want to get a switch? Well, Drew Holiday's on your ass now, point guard. Try and flip that over the top. Yeah. It's not happening. You're not going anywhere. So I think Drew has really settled into like the fifth option spot. He just knows his role really well now, and he's really, with the shot finally coming back around, it's really starting to make a lot of sense. Like it did last year. There was just times this year it felt a little off, and at times the whole team has felt a little off, and I think that's mostly just malaise. So Drew was totally solid. So I'm pumped. Keep him healthy. Unmallet that finger, please, Drew, and be healthy for the playoffs.
How about... Oh, yeah, we lost Spoonie's headphones just here, but I'll wait for him to come back before we talk about Baylor Sharman because he needs to be here. You good to go? All right.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, it's...
big fan, always been.
I was ready to... I mean, a couple big performances from a couple of your favorite guys here tonight between Torrey Craig and Baylor Sharman. So Baylor Sharman had 0 points tonight, but I thought he was pretty good. I thought he made some really nice passes. I thought that Jalen completely screwed him on an awesome alley-oop pass that he made in transition. I don't know what happened to Jalen in that moment, but decision-making wise on both ends, I think Baylor's been nailing it since he's been getting minutes the last couple games here.
Yeah, I mean, he and Torrey Craig were both -11s, co-worst on the team. But other than that, no, I thought Baylor is starting to look a lot more comfortable. He needs to shoot the ball though, and he airballed a 3, and that is not great, but that's okay. It's tough to make shots when you're not getting consistent run. I totally understand that. I would like to see him get consistent run. He's starting to earn a longer look, I think, with the way he's been playing, and see if he can bring the shooting around, because he's got 0 NBA future if he's like a 33% shooter, 34% shooter. Like he needs to be 37, 38, ideally 40 plus.
Well, over his last 2 games, he's 3 for 8. So
yeah, there you go.
that would be perfect, Baylor. Just stay right there.
But, yeah, please do. But he's clearly a plus decision maker on the offensive end. I thought he got lost a couple times defensively, but I also thought he had some really solid defensive possessions. I will say his defense is translating better than I expected it to. And he plays really, really hard. And he's sort of unorthodox, which I think can be a really big strength for a guy who gets 10 minutes, because you're not like game planning for him. So it's like, what is this weird lefty doing throwing a pass like that? So he can kind of leverage that to his advantage as well. So, I've long been Baylor Shireman's #1 fan, so I'm happy to see him starting to really figure it out.
Yeah, I know. I think you're probably going to get a shout out at his all rookie second team
too.
thing. I'm assuming you'll get a groomsman nod at some point, and then all rookie second team, which I'm sure Baylor Shireman's in line for after these 2 massive performances in March here. But look, I'm not going to say it was an awesome performance, but like we're looking just for little things, and I think on this team in particular, like quick decision making and right decision making is going to get you on the court. And I think the passing to me, I think flashed quite nicely tonight.
Yeah.
I think he's like really looking to pass. The Joe Ingles comp makes a lot of sense to me. But what got Joe Ingles the career that he had was like a knockdown. I think he led the league in corner threes one season. So I'm not sure Baylor Scheinman's ever going to get to that level of shooter, but like, can he be that 37, 38%? Because if he doesn't, yeah, as you said, if he doesn't have that, then he's not an NBA player. But because he should be able to do that. He's got the long sample size from shooting in college. Can we just be, a solid shooter? And then you got the decision-making stuff, the rebounding from that position, and the defense is better than we could have expected so far. I can see the vision. I'm not ready to declare Baylor Scheinman over Filipowski or Jalen Wells as the correct decision here, but it's nice to see him getting some minutes. 12 minutes tonight seems to have supplanted our guy Jordan Walsh. Sadly, I thought that maybe after Noah Delzell wrote that article about how basketball helped him find his confidence after losing his hair, which I completely can relate to. Jordan Walsh. Tonight, I can't wait to get on the court and forget all my troubles as I go 2 for 9 in against the Black Mambas. I think the team we're playing tonight is. But yeah, yeah, I know, terrible.
Black
So I got to
Mambas
make sure
lame.
we kind of one of our rivals actually. So got to be locked in. But yeah, solid performance from Baylor. Anything else on Baylor, or do you want to talk about your other favorite player, Torrey Craig?
Let's talk about my guy Torrey Craig. So I don't think he's a good defender, and that's my issue with him. But if he's gonna make shots and play hard, he's got to roll. And I thought that's what he did tonight. Like, he gave you exactly what you want out of your buyout guy in 12 minutes. Like 2 for 4 from 3 rebounds, 2 of them offensive, and a block. There you go, Torrey. Great job, buddy. I just the way people were talking about him when we got him, I thought was crazy. Like, he was, like we were getting prime Robert Covington or something like that.
It's just a bit of fun now, and I think that because I agree. I keep seeing people like, I think Craig should, be supplanting Hauser or get Craig in there. I'm like, there's no if your answer to anything is Craig, then things are going really, really badly, and they're going to continue to probably go really, really badly if you're looking for that type of solution. But buyout guy coming in, playing hard, being tall, and hitting open threes. Thanks for joining the Boston Celtics. Enjoy your free ring in and probably whenever you come back to visit the Celtics next season. So I'm happy with
Torrey. Torrey, you know what it looks like because Svi got his free ring tonight. Yeah.
What a great moment. Svi Mykhailiuk. That was cool. Everybody, because that's the first time that's happened this year, right? Because did Banton, was that Banton last year? Did they do one for Banton? Or was that the year before?
I think Banton was last year, right?
I think it was
the
last
greatest
year.
How could we forget the greatest theoretical player of all time?
Yeah, of course. I think it was last season. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he played for Boston in 23/24. I don't remember.
They were
Banton
just here.
I don't remember Banton. Yeah, exactly. He was here last week and he played. So I don't remember him. Maybe they said you didn't play enough games, so you don't get a ring. But I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. So, and Lamar Stevens also deserves a ring. And I didn't remember him getting a ring. I don't know if he's come to town yet, but I really enjoyed.
Is he on a roster?
I think so.
Okay.
I think he is. But and I'm obviously there's been no ceremony for O'Shea yet, but he's not on a team. But I'm not, keeping up with the O'Shea Brissett vlog the way that I used to.
Ben is.
Yeah, the way that Ben is probably still continuing to do. But really nice moment. And Svi hit a fucking monster 3 in the fourth quarter, just like coming out of I think we may have scored. We were getting back into a zone, and Svi just pulled from like the logo. And he hadn't hit a shot all night, it felt like, either. He was 2 for 6 from 3 in the end, but he buried that one late.
What is with this zone? Like, we just leave the wings wide open.
The zone doesn't
It's
do
like
anything.
a 2-1-2 where we're just like, oh, you want to shoot a wide open above the break 3 on the wing or in the slot? Go nuts. Like, that is not viable. Like, either they're not executing it or that scheme makes no sense. Every time we go to this zone, I feel like we give up wide open 3 after wide open 3. So can we just stop with whatever this version of the zone is? I absolutely despise it.
I feel like last year it was exciting. We had Drew Holiday captaining the middle of the zone.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the numbers. I don't feel like the zone ever became something that we relied on in any spot. I don't remember it ever being a thing in the playoffs. Maybe it's just like the guys are tired. Was just hit the button and hope the other team misses threes, because that kind of feels like what happens with every team that plays zone pretty much. It's just like hope the other team misses threes. And it does feel like ours are especially wide open and to good shooters a lot of the time as well. So I'm with you. Wouldn't be super mad if I don't see much of the zone going forward. But what did you think of the Luke Cornett Walker Kessler battle? And on the broadcast, there was some chatter about that being some type of rivalry. I'm not sure where that came from or if that eventuated in any way on the court. I didn't notice either of them showing ill will towards each other. Scal just talking nonsense as he is known to do at times.
I was gonna say I have a theory that Scal made it up or like misheard someone or someone made a joke and he didn't realize they were joking. Because I will say Luke and Kessler rolled on the floor for a ball one time, and like Luke he was reaching for the ball, but he kind of caught him pretty hard. But that is literally the only thing I saw. So I mean, like, this is not real, right?
No, I don't think so. I didn't see anything today that made me think that it was more. My theory was like maybe he saw like, a lot of Celtics fans wanting to trade him for Kessler. Because I know it wasn't possible contract-wise this season, but maybe last season or wherever it was possible. So maybe there was a bit of like, I'm just as good as that tall white guy. And you know what? I'm not sure there's that much of a gap between Walker Kessler and Luke Cornett. Sure, you want to give the edge to Walker Kessler? Fine. Is Walker Kessler changing the future of this center rotation if it's him instead of Luke Cornett? I don't think so. I think that Luke Cornett, offensively, decision-making wise, just way, way, way better.
Dude, it's not close. Like, Kessler is an extraordinarily limited offensive player. Like, he had Derek White in the post a couple times. They didn't even give it to him. They're just like, nah, we're not doing that. We're not watching you blow a possession with a shitty post-up, Walker. So I think Luke is, Kessler's hyper efficient, and he's not even like a better offensive rebounder than Luke this year, because Luke is like the best offensive rebounder in the league by offensive rebound percentage. So like, Kessler's amazing at that, but Luke has been amazing at that this year. So it's obviously like age-wise, it makes sense to get Kessler for the long term. But like, if you want to win a title this year, I would rather have Luke Cornett than Walker Kessler. But like, I think Kessler could be a better player than Luke in like 2 years. But right now, we need a dude who knows exactly what his role is and exactly where to make passes out of the short roll. And that is not Walker Kessler. He's a great rim protector. He's better at rim protecting than Luke is. But okay, whatever. That's not really a need.
Yeah. Luke's totally fine at playing. I will say maybe Walker Kessler's better at switching than Luke Cornett from what I saw tonight. But
totally.
But Luke Cornett's been kind of holding up in space throughout the regular season at times as well. Had a couple nice possessions in the Lakers game. I thought tonight he looked okay. Like, not something I think that Celtics would go to in a switch everything scheme with Luke Cornett out there by any means. But so yeah, happy to give the edge to Kessler there. But not. I think it's a classic case of like, no one watches the Jazz and see the numbers, the raw numbers that he puts up, and like, he kind of has just like a reputation for some reason, because he was like, in his rookie year, he like had crazy rim protection numbers. I think I may have said out loud like, how much worse is he than Rudy Gobert? A lot worse.
Just a question. Hey, we gotta ask.
Someone's got to do it out here, We're all takesmen at heart here, but we should probably. I don't know if you have anything else on this game. They got the win. Pritchard kind of stunk a little bit, but had a nice layup late. Cater had a classic Cater game. I thought a lot of bad, a lot of good. Oh, a lot of bad, a lot of thank God he made that play situation.
Yeah.
But
I will say on Cater, I thought his energy was really important in the first half and kind of changed the game a little bit. But grab bag Cater performance. So no, I don't really have much more on this one. Sam, best shooter in the NBA. Derek White, 10 assists. That was sweet too. So and 3 blocks. What a point guard. 10 assists, 3 blocks.
I mean, that was probably the sequence of the game, right? It was like Hauser hit a 3, Derek got a block, Hauser hit a 3, and that felt like where the game changed, which of course, Derek White's involved when it comes to something like that. So Kristaps Porzingis during the game at halftime tweeted, here we go. I have been dealing with some viral illness that we haven't been able to fully identify yet. I am recovering and getting better, but still working my way back to full strength to help the team. Thanks for support, and I'm hoping for a healthy return soon. I wouldn't say the fact that he's going to come out here and address the illness is good, and the fact that they haven't been able to identify it is good. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck?
What is going on, man? Like, what is this? I know that there's a sickness going around Boston that's like really intense, like the flu type of thing, because that's what all my mom talks to me about right now. But so like that is terrifying. And if it's truly something really serious, like a week-long flu is going to fuck you up physically for a long time after that. You're going to lose a bunch of weight. So it's terrifying. And like the unable to identify it, like, what does that mean? Is it new? Is it COVID-20? What is going on? Yeah.
Dude, of course. It can't just be like normal illness. He's out for this amount of time. It has to be an ankle injury that single-digit players in the history of sports have ever had. And now it's got to be a rare virus that has never been seen in the modern civilization. That's what he's got. It's just like, I am just at a place now where if he's there to help us for the playoffs, I'm going to be surprised. And this is why everybody got fucking mad at me. I've made up a bunch of trades for Kristaps Porzingis because there's something about him, and maybe he's gonna figure it out and be fine for the playoffs. But like right now, it really feels like he's just one of those people. You know, you just have people in your life, and it's not their fault necessarily, but it's like, Kristaps wasn't able to make it into work today. Classic Kristaps. And then if we find out like 2 weeks later, it's like, oh no, he's not going to be back for a while. We all feel bad for like making fun of him. But it's like, of course, Kristaps is not going to be able to help us with accounting for the next 3 months. It's just like, nah, God damn it.
Yeah, it's like your friend who like loses a parent, gets in a car crash, and gets laid off from their job in like 6 months. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you just can't catch a break, man. I'm really sorry.
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, but also, you know, it's tax season, brother. We got to get these returns out, you know? Like, we got to get a ring here, big dog. Like, get well soon. But I also do not love tweeting it out, no warning, in the middle of a game.
Halftime?
Like, yeah, like you couldn't have waited till the morning. Like, hey, here's an update on me. This is what's going on. Like, what were you in the locker room?
Yeah.
And tweeting it out? Like, what was going on there?
I was thinking maybe he got like the clocks thing wrong and he scheduled the tweet, or his social media manager scheduled the tweet wrong.
I like that.
And so like it came out at halftime, but it was supposed to come out at the end of the game. We're clutching at straws a little bit here, but yeah, bad timing and not the worst communication. The tweet itself is totally fine.
No, it's fine.
But I feel worse now. I would have rather have not. I don't know. Actually, would you have rather have to not have this information or to have this information?
I think had he just said like, I've got a really bad sickness and like it's gonna take me a little while to recover, I would have been fine. An unidentified viral infection side of it is like, do we really need to know that it's like, you don't need to tell us what exactly like, I don't know, for some reason the cloak of mystery made it seem maybe more serious than it actually is. So I don't know, man, it's got my brain in a pretzel. I haven't I haven't grieved about it yet, Jake.
This is a good point from Jake C. The Twitter was kind of broken a lot of today, so maybe that had something to do with it. But obligatory podcaster says, I'm not a doctor comment goes right here.
I love these.
But how many viruses do actually get identified as exactly what it is? Maybe it's just a virus that we all kind of get and, you know, we don't know exactly what it is. It's just taking him longer to get over said virus than they thought. That part I don't know. Like how many people go to the doctor and get antibiotics and the antibiotics like kind of helps. But like, they don't actually identify specifically what
Right.
exact virus it is. Maybe, through my extensive epidemiology research that I did, like all of us through the 2019 through 2020 years of our life, maybe there's something to that. But yeah, not good. And thank God we have Al Horford, because dude, all we need from you. I looked in the game log from the finals. He played 20 minutes in game 1, 23 in game 3, and 15 in game 5. If I could get 15 minutes a night from KP in the playoffs, I feel like that's at mystery box, 15 minutes a night. Which one are you taking?
Oh, 15 minutes, like guaranteed
Yeah.
plays every
Guaranteed.
game, 15
Every
minutes.
game, 15 minutes a night.
Oh, give me the 15 minutes a night. And it is not particularly close, Jake.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Assuming like he's fully healthy in this scenario too, or like mostly fully healthy. Yeah, 15 amazing minutes of KP, 33 of Al Horford. We're winning the title. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I think it's a clear no-brainer, and maybe that's the thing. It's like, hey, Kristaps, maybe you're not going to get better, but can you give us can you give us 4 3-minute stints or something like that? Yeah, so we've got someone that is maybe shooting down that it's hard to identify viruses, but I'm sticking with it for now. Last bit before we get out of here, Spoonie. Unless you got anything else.
Moira's saying any virus we know about in the world can be identified with a panel. So, like, it's worse that we can't identify it, right? I think that's how I'm reading it.
Maybe it's a language barrier. Maybe Kristaps hasn't been able to hear the doctors right. And it's like, we know what it is. And he's like, they still don't know what it is, guys. I don't know. It's just not good. It's just not good. Okay, last bit. So Lakers just lost to the Nets, which is really fun. 111-108. No LeBron, obviously. And we haven't really got to hear from you since we beat the Lakers. So I just wanted to do a quick note on the Lakers. I'm sure you enjoyed that game more than anybody else, potentially. But yeah, just on this game, like the Nets kind of had him most of the fourth quarter. And then Cam Johnson missed like 2 free throws to give the ball back to the Lakers with 3 seconds left, down 3. And Luka missed a 76-foot heave. So thankfully the Nets held on there. But I'll give you the floor for a couple leftover Lakers thoughts here.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know that Luka Doncic was injured. He had an injury. So I think we all need to understand that he had an injury and he was injured. And clearly he was injured and he was not 100%. Like, seriously, this guy was injured. 100% injured. Okay.
Especially after halftime.
Especially after halftime. And
no way we could have known.
And every time Jaylen Brown picked his pocket, he was especially injured during those times as well. I just like Jaylen was like honestly getting me a little emotional listening to like Simmons and Russillo talk about Jaylen's on-ball defense against Luka. It is like inspirational how he goes at him, man. I absolutely love it. And then you combine that with Al Horford, 25 ISO possessions, like 0.4 points per possession against Al Horford in isolation. Just absolutely incredible, man. Like, that dude is so good. And then, of course, LeBron sees the writing on the wall. He's injured all of a sudden. Oh, yeah, I know he's out a week or two. I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it's totally legitimate. I'm not being sarcastic at all right now. So, but look, it just is what it is. It's classic LeBron. I'm not surprised. It's like when he was shooting free throws in I think it was like 2014 or might have been 2010 postseason, where he was like missed a free throw and he's like, oh, my hand, it hurts so bad. So it is what it is with LeBron. But I thought that performance was excellent. It's a shame it didn't count because Jackson Hayes didn't play. Sure. But no, I thought we played excellent, bar sort of letting go of the rope for a while in the fourth quarter, which seems to be a bit of a pattern recently, very much so, but they're also good enough that when they turn it back on, they end up winning by 10 anyway. So great win, awesome game, just like amazing atmosphere. The Garden was awesome. So that was like maybe the most fun I've had watching a game this year, honestly.
It's kind of crazy to contrast the experience of the Lakers game to the Jazz game tonight, because like they were in the same building, a lot of the same players are playing, and it could not have felt more different. the way my body was feeling both before, during, and after that game. But yeah, Jason with 40, 12, and 8. Horford's still doing his thing. Sure, LeBron got injured and couldn't finish the game. And Luka's injured. We can roast him. But playing the playoffs and winning an NBA title is a war of attrition. And that's why the Jays have always been so successful in the NBA. And that's why LeBron has been so successful in his careers, because he is a fucking machine. And the fact that he is still this good at 40 is, on top of what he's done in his career. But the thing is, you're relying on a 40-year-old version of that guy, and you're relying on Luka Doncic, who was traded because he's out of shape. And surprise, surprise, he's got a back injury. These two guys are not going to be able to carry you through 3 rounds of the playoffs in 40. The quote from the Lakers fans are like, oh my God, the Celtics tried so hard. They played their guys too many minutes. It's that's the most embarrassing shit I've ever heard. It's that they cared about the oldest rivalry in the history of the sport. How dare they? We've been the most hyped team in the NBA since we made the Luka trade, and Tatum and Jalen took the game personally. And we're mad that they tried too hard. It's embarrassing. You guys should be embarrassed.
On an 8-game winning streak coming into Boston, with all the media noise, and Colin Cowherd, I guess his show is just about Jason Tatum now for some reason. Tatum hears that noise. So you could tell they were on a mission. They had a point to prove. And you know what? They fucking proved it. And that was absolutely beautiful. It was a magical, magical evening. So it was just an awesome game, man. That is what NBA basketball is all about. And I think you said it on the show with Ben too, is that is why we watch this shit, for games like that. And, it was just so much fun.
Yeah. If you don't care about Celtics, Lakers, LeBron, Luka, Tatum, Jalen, then there's no point in watching the games, or watching the sport at all. So
shouldn't you want them to try?
Yeah,
that's the whole complaint.
The whole point. The Jays are trying to save the NBA. They're doing their best. But yeah, man, this is awesome. We'll be back tomorrow for a Patreon pod. We'll do probably some Thunder preview stuff. I saw Jalen Williams got injured today, and left with a hip strain. So who knows if he'll be playing against the Celtics. So that game won't count either if the Celtics win. But that's fine. So, and then we might do some Walsh, Shireman, if they turn into X player, is that a hit? Segment tomorrow, which we've been talking about in the Discord. So
I'm so excited for that, Jake. Yes, I cannot wait. It's such a great idea that you had.
Yeah, definitely me and not Tice from the Discord. That's for sure. But everybody, appreciate you all. Till next time, go Celtics.